It's beginning to look a lot like autumn. Everywhere you go, the leaves are turning brown. They're starting to fall down. And the whole landscape looks beautiful and golden. Well, not quite at the moment, but it is on its way. It really does feel very autumnal today, I must say. Here we are again. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Another week has flown by. Yes, we are back together, English Addict, live from the birthplace of English, which just happens to be, oh my goodness, England. Oh, hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy? I hope you have a smile on your face. I want to see you happy. I want to know that you are feeling good where you are, and I hope that I can help you bring that smile to your face. I will try my best. Here we are again. I can't believe it. It's been a busy week for various reasons, which I won't go into. We had a medical emergency. Not with me, but with Mr. Steve. I will explain that later on. For those who don't know who I am, maybe you are thinking, who is that weird bloke? Who is that strange man talking to me now on my computer screen? Well, my name is Duncan. I talk about English. I love English so much. You might even say that I am an English addict. That is what I am, I suppose, amongst other things, which I won't go into. So I'm Duncan, I talk about English, I love the English language, and I have a feeling that you might like English as well. I have a feeling. Just before I came on, I decided to drink some water. Unfortunately, the water went into my throat very quickly, and I started choking on the water. And they say that water is good for you. Well, it is, unless, of course, you choke on the water that you are drinking, like I just did. So here we are again. Nice to see so many people here today. And, of course, we have made it all the way to the end of another weekend and almost the end of another month. This is the final Sunday of September. Yes, we will be into October next week. Ooh, Mr. Duncan, do you have anything planned for October? Because it's your anniversary. Maybe, maybe not. Yes, it is Sunday. We are back together. Nice to see you here today. Oh, very nice. Can I just clear something up? If you clear something up, it means you are explaining something, or maybe you are bringing up a certain topic or situation so as to bring it to a conclusion. Can I just clear something up? Last week, now I didn't realise at the time, but last week there was some trouble on the live chat. So I wasn't aware of it at the time because, well, first of all, I'm trying to control all of the equipment here in front of me, and then I have to concentrate on what Mr. Steve is talking about. And as you know, that's not easy to do. And also I have to talk to you as well. I have to do lots of things at the same time. So sometimes I might not notice what is happening on the live chat all the time. And I noticed there was a little bit of fighting last week, a little bit of hatred maybe, a little bit of disagreement taking place. Can we have niceness this week, even though we are talking about a subject that might bring out the worst in some of us today, including me and also Steve? We are talking about liking and disliking. I think it's fair to say that we all have things in our lives that we like, and there are things that we dislike. Maybe we like things very much. Maybe we like something a lot. However, we might also dislike something a little bit. So we don't dislike it a lot. Maybe we dislike something just a little bit. However, it is also possible to dislike something very much. And we can often use words to describe that. If you like something very much, we can say that you love it. You love that thing. If you dislike something, we might say that you hate that thing. If the feeling of dislike is great, and maybe you really hate something, you really dislike it so much. Some people dislike me. Can you believe it? I can't believe that there are people out there that don't like me. What's not to like? Come on. Give me two things that you dislike about me. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I might regret saying that, to be honest. So here we are, yes, English Addict, and we are back together. We are talking about liking and disliking. You might like a certain piece of music. You might like going out for a walk. You might enjoy the night time when the sky is clear. Maybe you enjoy walking out on a dark night and maybe you can look up and see the stars. So maybe that is something you really like doing. You enjoy the feeling when it occurs. So that's what we're talking about today. Oh, hello, Mr. Pigeon. Did you see Mr. Pigeon? He flew by then, saying hello to me. Hello to the live chat. Oh, very interesting. We have a very interesting situation taking place here on the live chat, because it would appear that our reigning champion, Vitas, is once again not first on the live chat. This is a very, very unusual situation, I have to say. Every week, just before I start my live stream, I always wonder who will be first. Who will be first on today's live chat? And I can give you the answer now concerning today's live chat, because yes, we have once again first. It is Mosen. Congratulations to you. You are first on today's live chat. This is my cool face. Do you like it? When I feel cool, when I want to appear cool and sophisticated, this is what I do. This is my cool look. Do you like it? I could be the next James Bond. I could. It's about time. I think it's terrible that we've never had a nerd or a geeky person playing James Bond. I think it's about time that we had someone like me with glasses who looks a little bit awkward being James Bond. I think it's a great idea, to be honest. I'm sure you disagree. I have a feeling you might. So congratulations to Mosen. Yes, you are first on today's live chat. It would appear that Mosen has a very fast finger at the moment. You might be the new champion of clicking and being first on the live chat. You might be. Hello also to, who else is on the live chat today? Let's have a look, because it's all disappeared. It's very annoying when it does that. Hello to Monsieur. Hello Beatrice. Hello also to Florence. Hello Florence, nice to see you here today. Hello also to Ricardo, nice to see you as well. Something very strange just happened then to my computer and everything around me. For a moment the live chat disappeared and I panicked slightly. Did you see it? Did you see my panic face? So this is my cool face. And this is my panic face. It's very different. Talking of panic, sometimes I am very ashamed. I feel so ashamed to be English. This week, people in my country have been going crazy, absolutely crazy, because of the fact that due to certain things like Brexit, deliveries of items has been slowed down and in some cases stopped completely. And one of the things that has been in short supply, but it doesn't mean that it's not available, because you need things like lorry drivers to drive goods around. And when there aren't any lorry drivers, when there aren't any truck drivers, then you might find that certain things become scarce, or maybe transporting things from one place to another becomes more difficult. And one of those things happens to be gasoline or petrol or diesel. So people this week have gone crazy. They've been panicking. They've been rushing to the local petrol stations and they've been filling their car, but also they've been taking cans as well, taking cans and filling the cans with petrol as well. And there are two things that are wrong with that. First of all, you don't need to panic. And the second thing is transporting large amounts of petrol around in the back of your car is pretty dangerous. So 2 reasons. People have been going crazy this week because they believe that petrol will not be available. But it is. It is. There is petrol. There is diesel. It's everywhere. The only problem is transporting that petrol around the country, because there is a shortage of lorry drivers. So that's the reason why. This is also the reason why certain things in supermarkets have become a little scarce. And people have been panic buying there as well. Apparently one of the latest things that is hard to get hold of is pasta. People have been panic buying pasta. Can anyone explain that to me? Can someone please explain why people are panicking over pasta? I think you can make it yourself, can't you? Can you make your own pasta? I think you can. All you need is flour and some other things, and I'm sure you can make your own pasta quite easily. So we have petrol and diesel. And the worst thing that happened this week is all of the newspapers and all of the news reporting on television said there is no need to panic. Can I just say, the worst thing you should ever say to the British public is don't panic. Because the first thing we do is panic. So never tell people not to panic, because if you do, they will start to panic. And that's what happened this week. So everyone on the television kept saying, the government has said there is no need to panic, which of course has caused many people to panic. And that's the reason why there is now a shortage of petrol, because everyone has been going out and filling their cars and anything they can get their hands on. I think they're actually taking anything, maybe buckets. They're getting buckets of petrol and putting them in the back of their cars. Can you believe that? So yes, we have a little bit of panic at the moment taking place. Although I can say that Mr. Steve and myself, we remained very calm. Yesterday, we were very calm. We did not panic because we've been through so much over the past 20 months. So this does not seem like a big problem, to be honest with you. So you might find that many people have been overreacting, and this happens sometimes. If one group of people starts to panic, then another group will start to panic, and then everyone starts to panic. So that's what's happening at the moment. And if there's one thing we are very good at here in England, it is overreacting to things. We are very good at it. So that's what's been happening here. We've had a medical emergency with Mr. Steve. He will be talking all about that a little bit later on. And we are talking about liking things and disliking things. Is there a difference as far as you are concerned? Are there things that you like and dislike? Another interesting thing is, of course, in relationships. Because later on, I'm going to give you some of my things that I dislike and like. And Mr. Steve will be doing the same thing. However, if you also have things that you like and dislike, I will be encouraging you later to tell me what they are. So maybe you can think of 5 things or 3 things or even just one thing that you like and dislike. And we will talk about that later on when Mr. Steve joins us, because he will be with us in around about 10 minutes. Yes, we haven't forgotten about Steve. But going back to my original point, in relationships, quite often, if you stay in a relationship with someone for a long time, you might find that there are certain things that become annoying. It can be anything really, maybe something small. Perhaps your partner, when they are drinking their tea, maybe they slurp their tea. And it can be very annoying. So in relationships, you might find sometimes that people have things that annoy them, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time. And of course, another thing to mention is many people have been together more than they normally are because of lockdown. I'm just wondering how many relationships have ended, how many marriages have broken up or broken down because of lockdown, because they've had to spend so much time together. So I think in relationships you can find that there are things that annoy you about your partner. So we might talk about that as well. So if you can think of something that annoys you, something you dislike, and of course something you like as well, please let me know. And Steve will be telling us all about those things as well. Oh, hello to Saturino, who says, Mr. Duncan, your panic face looks like the famous painting of The Scream by Munch. Yes, you are right. The panic face. So my panic face that I showed you earlier, that is what happens when I panic. That's what my face looks like. But most of the time, my face looks like this. Happy. You see? A smile on my face and a twinkle in my eye. And I hope you have the same thing today. English and More says we can make our own pasta. Yes, I think so. I don't think it's very difficult, although I've never done it myself, to be honest. I've never tried to make my own pasta, but I believe it's quite easy to do if you know how to do it. A bit like everything, really. Everything is easy if you know how to do it. But I've never made pasta. I wonder if Steve has. Hello also to... we have Claudia here. Hello, Claudia. Nice to see you back. Pasta, rice, and also cans. These are all food that we can store in our kitchen for a very long time. Yes, I suppose so. But people at the moment have been panic buying. And the one thing they've been getting at the moment is petrol. But there isn't a shortage. There is lots and lots of petrol. There is lots of gasoline everywhere. The only problem is the supply chain has been broken slightly. It's much slower. But there is still enough petrol to go around. So people are now panic buying. They are filling their cars and their cans and everything. And so those people who really do need petrol for their cars, maybe they work in a hospital, maybe they are a doctor or a nurse, maybe they have to do a type of job that people rely on that person to do. And they can't fill their car with petrol because everyone else is there trying to fill their cars. So yes, I suppose you might describe it as a type of selfishness. Maybe that's something you dislike. Maybe that is something you don't like. Selfishness can be something we don't like. Yeah, so maybe that's one of the things that you dislike as well. So we have Mr. Steve coming in a few moments. We also have some nice things to show you. By the way, did you see my new lesson? I posted a new lesson last week. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but it is a lesson that I made, and the title was Walk With Me. Because if you remember, last year I made a very similar video as well. So I thought I would make one this year also. So here it is. Here is an excerpt you can see now on screen. I won't play the video, but I will show you some clips as I talk to you. So this is a video that I uploaded this week. It is me taking a walk through the area in which I live, and I was able to see so many beautiful sights during my walk. And you can enjoy this lesson on my YouTube channel. I've actually put the link underneath this video. So in case you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen this video, then the link is underneath my live stream right now. So you can watch it later on when you want. And also the other thing to remember is this particular video is in super duper high quality. We are talking 4K. Mr. Duncan, that's very high end. So there it is. That was a little bit on the screen of my latest lesson that I made a few days ago whilst taking a walk around the area in which I live. A lot of people have written to me to say how much you enjoy it. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. I might make some more lessons where I'm walking around and showing you some of the sights and also letting you hear the sounds as well. Hello, Christina. Oh, hello, Christina. Nice to see you here. The defects that are always noticed after a long time in a relationship are often because when you are in love, you didn't notice them. Yes. Well, I always think when you first begin a relationship with someone, you often put your best face in front of them. You never show people your true feelings or your true emotions, especially things that might be seen as negative, like anger, or maybe if you have some annoying habit. So whenever a relationship begins, you often find that you will act in a certain way. So I'm not saying that you are lying or cheating, but you might show your best face to someone because you don't want to spoil the relationship. But of course, over time, once the two people fall in love and they decide that they want to be together, you might find that there are certain things that they will start to notice about each other. And we are talking about their annoying habits. As I mentioned earlier, maybe when they drink their tea, perhaps they slurp. So these are things that you might begin to notice over time, things that you might not like about that person. But because you are in love with them, because you love them so much, you are willing to overlook those strange habits that they have. I think so. I think you are right there, Christina. Inaki says, I do not like advertisements whilst watching a video or a film. Fortunately, the ad blocker in my computer works brilliantly. Oh, okay. That's not good news for me, by the way. That's very bad news for me if you are blocking advertisements. I'm sure you know why. So Mr. Steve will be here in a few moments, and I thought before then we would have a look at one of my full English lessons. This is an excerpt from Full English number 37, and then after this we will be live with Mr. Steve. He will be here in the studio as live can be. I like to think of myself as being a helpful chap. I always try to give a helping hand whenever I can. So today I will start with a useful tip for those planning to come to the UK. My tip for survival today is never accept a £50 note from anyone. I'm not kidding. If you are ever offered a £50 note as payment or in change, you must refuse it. Do not take the £50 note. Why, I hear you ask? The answer is simple, because you will never get rid of it. No one will accept a £50 note. Shops will not take them. You will not be able to get change for it. No one knows what a real £50 note looks like. People just assume they are all fake. So, just to reiterate, don't accept a £50 note from anyone, anywhere, at any time. Hi everybody, and welcome to another Full English lesson. Let's get on with it, shall we? Let's do it. Let's learn some more English. Right? Ding! Now! Many people have asked me, Mr. Duncan, what is the best way to speak English? Is it with an American accent or a British accent? I think this is a very interesting question indeed, and some might say that it is not easy to answer. But my answer to this question is quite simple. You use the English you feel the most comfortable with. You don't have to sound like an American when you're speaking. You don't have to sound like a British person when you're speaking. As long as you feel comfortable with the way you use English, that is the most important thing of all.
Of course, it's also important that the other person understands what you are saying as well. So don't worry too much about sounding like somebody else. Don't punish yourself by trying to copy someone else's way of speaking. What you have to do is develop your own way of using English. Don't forget, English is an emotional language. It's a personal language. It's a language that you use to express the way you feel. So don't worry about sounding like somebody else. Use English as you would your own language, in your own way, to express the way you feel. So you don't have to sound like Mr. Duncan. You don't have to sound like some American movie star. You don't have to sound like anybody. What you have to sound like is you. Have you ever been on a busman's holiday? Have you ever heard of this expression before? Well, let me explain what it is. A busman's holiday is an expression that describes a situation where a person is doing something for relaxation that they would be normally doing in their occupation. That is to say, they are trying to take a break away from their work by doing something that relates to their actual job. For example, if I went away for a trip to London for a break, away from making video lessons, and whilst there I went to visit the YouTube headquarters to talk to someone about video production, then you might describe this as a busman's holiday. I am doing something in my free time that relates to my actual job. We can call anything related to a person's profession as a busman's holiday, if the thing in question can be connected to their normal occupation. A doctor might visit a museum of medicine during a vacation. A firefighter might have to put out a blaze at a hotel they are staying at. A person who drives a bus for a living might have to drive the family around whilst on holiday. Hence the expression busman's holiday. I always like to introduce new words and phrases to you, and today is no exception. The phrase I'm going to show you today refers to a certain item of clothing. The phrase is old hat. Here you can see in my hand one of my old hats that I used to wear. The phrase old hat means to be obsolete or tired out by being done too often or for too long. A thing that has been said or done time and time again over a long period of time can be referred to as old hat. It has been done so many times before, most people have become bored with it. A tired and overdone thing is old hat. This new superhero movie plot is so old hat. An out-of-date thing or something that is seen as old-fashioned can be described as old hat. It is no longer fashionable. It is boring. It has been done too often for too long. It is old hat. The phrase derives from the notion of something being worn too often, such as an old hat, to the point where it looks tired and worn out. It has been used for a very long time.
And there it was, an excerpt from one of my full English lessons. And you can find all of my lessons on my YouTube channel. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, well, you can, because then you will not miss anything. Everything we do, we will be doing it for you, and you won't miss a single moment. Do you ever start a sentence and you're not sure how to end it?
Hello everyone. Hello, Mr. Duncan.
You know what I haven't done for a long time, Steve? I haven't given you a round of applause.
Well, I haven't done anything yet.
Yes, well, it's just the fact that you're here.
Ah.
Mr. Steve is back.
I haven't been very far away, Mr. Duncan.
No, you haven't.
No. It seems like it, but in fact, I've been very close.
Can I just mention, we've had, I don't want to bring everything down, but we've had a medical emergency this week.
Have we?
Well, with you.
You're exaggerating, Mr. Duncan. Exaggerating.
But it could have been something that was serious. I'm
Making
just...
something seem greater than it is.
Well,
to
it-
exaggerate.
Well, it was at the time when you were saying, I think there's something wrong, it's not right.
I did go into a little minor panic.
Yes, we were talking about panic earlier, because everyone here in England is panicking at the moment over various things. I did mention it earlier. We
Yes.
won't mention it again.
There's
Because-
been a few comments.
Oh, yes. Well, we can mention those, but Steve had a little medical emergency because you went out for a walk, didn't you?
Yes, it's just an incident,
Yes. Well, don't worry. Sorry, no one's
not a
going.
medical emergency.
But it was kind of, well, you were trying to get information from the local National Health Service.
Well, I was on Friday night, yes.
Yes. Well, that's a medical emergency.
No, it wasn't an emergency. We didn't have to call an ambulance.
No.
I didn't have to go to ITU or to any kind of emergency services.
Yes.
I thought I might have needed to have gone, but I didn't.
Casualty
Casualty,
is the word you were looking for.
yes.
Casual. So it wasn't that bad, but let's just have a look. So Mr. Steve went out for a walk last Friday.
A run. No, Thursday.
Okay, make your mind up.
Went for my usual sort of lunchtime exercise.
Yes. And when Steve came back, he seemed a little distracted. He seemed a little upset by something.
Pastor.
And you said, Mr. Duncan, I've been stung by a wasp. And
Yes.
then he was crying.
No.
And so I
no.
had to console him. I had to say, it's all right. It's all right. It'll be okay. Be a brave boy. Be a brave boy.
Yes, there I was. I was in my shorts, of course, going out for my run, constitution, exercise, and I felt a sharp prick on my leg. Yes, it was, it literally, what on earth? Felt like somebody was sticking a needle right into my leg. I looked down and there was a wasp flying off before I had a chance to kill it.
See, this is, so you know what
There
I
was
think?
minding my own business.
You know what this is, Steve? This is
I know.
this is karma.
This is karma.
Karma. A few weeks ago, if you remember, Steve killed a whole nest of wasps that was outside my window. He had them killed. He had them destroyed.
Well, yeah.
And I think what happened, one of those wasps escaped, but not before he made a note of Mr. Steve's face. So that's what I think. I think this was revenge. I think one of the wasps was actually carrying out a revenge
I think so.
attack.
Yes, I think so. Well, strangely enough, a few days before, I met somebody walking their dog because if you go, I do my exercise, I go on the same route. And of course, you meet people walking their dogs or whatever, and you stop and talk to some of them, which I do. And I always stop running if I see somebody with a dog, which is invariably not on a lead.
Okay, and you were telling me about
So
my boring stories.
No, but so I always stop because the dog, if they see you running, they chase after you. So I always stop and walk. And then when I've gone past, I'll start running again. So I met this neighbour and he said, I've just been careful on that corner on the edge of the wood because I was taking my dog for a walk and it got stung 6 times by a wasp.
Yeah.
And then I got stung in the place that his dog got stung, And then I met somebody else the same day after I'd just been stung, who I see, who also walks her dog. And I said, oh, I've just been stung by a wasp. And she said, is it in that place on the corner? I said, yes. She said, I was stung
Wow.
3 days before.
I mean,
and she got this big sting on the side.
Yes, that's amazing.
I mean, I know it's not a big thing, but anyway, yes, on Friday night, it started to swell up.
Yeah.
My leg and went very red.
Okay, Steve, would you like to see it?
Yes.
Do you want to see Steve's leg? What happened to his leg?
Well, I think you're going to see it anyway.
You're going to see it, whether you want to or not. but for those who are a little...
That.
No, it's not on screen yet, Steve.
No, I was just looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, faster.
If there are any professionals out there who understand the concept of broadcasting, could you please come here and replace Steve?
And Naki says, karma's faster than I thought. That's funny. The wasp's revenge.
Yes.
I haven't been stung by a wasp since I was about 10,
Yes.
which is, 50 years ago. Imagine
Wow.
that.
Imagine
I
that.
haven't been stung for 50 years and then suddenly,
Yeah.
bam.
Yes.
It's not a coincidence. It's
No.
because I killed that wasp nest off.
You killed hundreds of wasps. And that was
Yes.
it, you see. You ordered their execution.
Ricardo says that in Spain there are Asiatic wasps that are very deadly.
Yes.
Yes. There we go. Everyone's saying yes, it's my own fault.
Well, this happens here. Every year, you can guarantee just as summer arrives, Steve, there is always at least one newspaper that talks about the Asian wasp or the Asian hornet. And there's always a warning. Anyway, here is Mr. Steve's leg. Steve?
Yes.
Steve, just
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
with me.
Yeah, just...
I know you like to have your own live stream next to me, but here we go. Here is...
even says there's a wasp behind me.
No, there isn't. Steve, this is why no one watches.
Yes, look what happened to my leg. Anyway, it was worse than that on Friday night, and it swelled up. And I looked it all up, and it said, contact emergency services immediately. You may have an infection. So I started to panic a bit.
Yes.
Luckily, it went down the next day,
Yes.
and all was okay.
You see, I was right. Mr. Steve was panicking. It was a medical emergency. So that's Mr. Steve's leg. I've never seen anything like this, to be honest. I've heard that you can have quite bad reactions to bee stings or wasp stings, but look at that. It's Mr. Steve's leg. I thought it was going to fall off.
It did suddenly, in a very short space of time. It was very painful to walk on.
Yeah.
So I think I had some kind of reaction. But anyway, it's gone down.
Yes.
But it just shows you can react. Apparently, if that had grown to 10 centimetres across, they said if the red patch and the swollen patch grows to 10 centimetres, it means you have an infection and you need to go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't get to 10 centimetres, and anyway, I'm all right. But yes, revenge of the wasps. Yeah, and it's going down now. It's going down.
This is a lesson for all of us, by the way, so you can learn from Mr. Steve's mistake. Be careful. Be careful when you are deciding whether or not to kill a wasp nest or a bee's nest or any type of nest, because some of them might come back and find you, and they will sting you.
Communicate with other nests.
Yeah.
Stefano, here's a point of English. Says, what do you say if a wasp stings you? You say you've been stung.
Yes.
STUNG.
So sting is the participle, and the past participle is stung. You were stung.
A wasp can sting you, and then if it does sting you, you say, I've been stung by a wasp.
And you can also say that the wasp stung you. So again, it is a past participle. So the wasp stung you. You have been stung by a wasp.
Beatrice, exactly right. Frequently, I have to destroy wasps' nests because they build them near the window. It is dangerous. It is a pity, but yes, there's really no option, because if you open the window and they come in, My mother was staying that weekend. I don't know if she'd been stung by that wasp. She could have had a very nasty reaction, at 90. So we can't take risks.
So
But,
I wasn't sure if Steve was going to leave the wasp nest there,
Yes.
just in case, you see, he might be training the wasps to come into the window.
Adi
Yes.
says, my grandma almost died from a wasp sting
Addy.
when I was 11.
So just proving just how dangerous it can be. You can have you ever seen that film My Girl? My Girl. It was a film from the 1990s, Macaulay Culkin and some other brat. But in the film, Macaulay Culkin gets stung by a wasp or a bee and dies.
It does happen. You get an anaphylactic reaction. Some people have to carry adrenaline in syringes around with them because if they get stung by a bee or a wasp, they start to have breathing problems and everything swells up and you can die, and you have to inject adrenaline or take antihistamines. But I think for people who suffer from a severe allergic reaction to a wasp or a bee sting, then they have to inject themselves with, and they have to carry it around. We had a lady that lived near us. Anywhere she went, she had to carry this adrenaline, and she had to call the ambulance out on more than one occasion after being stung in her garden.
This is it. So this is the reason why I was so concerned and Steve was concerned, and that's why it was a medical emergency.
Oh, look. Alessandra's mentioned it, yes. Anaphylactic shock. So that usually occurs, from my understanding, within, a short period of time after the event. So, a few minutes to an hour, maybe. But 24 hours, 48 hours later, there's something else going on. You've probably got a bit of an infection. But anyway, there we go.
Can be quite nasty. It's amazing how many people are sensitive to various things. And what happens, of course, is all of the soft tissue, the soft mucous membranes in your airways and your lungs going down to your lungs, they can swell up. So you literally suffocate because of it. So it can be very nasty. It's not a nice way to go.
You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. Yes. Right. So that's enough of that. Enough of my medical emergency, as you put it.
Stang. Yes, I suppose you could say stang. It's stung you, but we don't normally say stang. To be honest, we don't normally say stang.
Yes, you in a sentence you could say the wasp. Yeah, could you say stang?
Stung. We normally say stung,
yes.
to be honest.
Yeah. But anyway, it probably can use that word, but just we tend. Yeah, exactly. You've explained it.
Yes.
Lots of people talking about. Am I allergic to anything? Says Christina. I don't. Apart from Mr. Duncan.
I think many people have that problem. Many people are allergic to me. When I go into a room, everyone runs out to get some fresh air. I don't know why.
Mud is good for a wasp sting. You see, that's the yellow jackets, as they can be called in Poland, apparently. Yes, that is true. You see, I didn't wash it when I came back in. So I probably should have washed the area
Yes.
and put some antiseptic on it. I just thought, oh no, I'm tough, manly sort of person.
I think it would be fair to say that it's probably wise to be a little bit more afraid of wasps than bees. So bees don't normally sting. They are very reluctant to do it because if a bee stings, then it will rip its own insides out and it will die. So a bee will only sting if absolutely necessary, whereas wasps will sting randomly. So sometimes they will do it just for the fun. They just want to go out and sting some people just for a laugh.
So there's a dangerous corner in the woods near us at the moment, on the edge of the wood, where there must be a wasp's nest. And so I've been back. We went there yesterday, walked past there. I couldn't see anything. But anyway, that's enough of that.
Valentina
Yes.
says, when I was younger, I was stung by many wasps, and one stung me very close to my eye, and also many on my neck. It was so painful. I had to go to the hospital. I'm not surprised. I mean, one wasp sting is bad enough, but imagine being stung by many wasps.
William says, "Hi everyone, I'm late because I was cooking rice and polenta." Is
Ooh.
how we would pronounce that in English. Polenta. But I can't remember what polenta is. Is it a vegetable?
It might be something with vegetables, perhaps.
Got a feeling it's... Yes, please tell us, William, what is polenta? I've heard of it. People... I don't think it's that common in the UK, but is it a grain? Something like some kind of grain? Please tell us.
What's interesting also is going back to something I was asked last week about animals, dangerous animals like wolves or coyotes. We don't have them here. But insects, strangely enough, they are probably one of the most dangerous things that exist in this country, in nature. Isn't that bizarre? Isn't that weird? I would say that insects are the ones that could cause the most harm to human beings. We don't really normally have animals that cause harm to people. It's very, very, very interesting.
Polenta is corn.
Oh, okay.
Corn. So yes, is it sort of ground up corn that turns into a sort of a paste or something like that? Yes, polenta with chicken.
Oh,
that sounds chicken. Yeah, well, chicken and sweet corn go well together. So I would imagine if polenta is corn, then it's a type of flour.
A lot of people asking, by the way, Steve. We've got to
flour
move.
made from corn.
It's great, Steve, but we've got to move on because it's 2:55 already. We're going to have no time left to do all of the things we want to do in the next hour. But I was going to say, I think, but I've forgotten what it was. This is good. So,
you said you had to move on because you got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Was it something to do with bee stings, wasp stings?
No, we've moved on from. We're moving on from that now. We're going to fly on. We're going to buzz a little bit further ahead.
I'll tell you what's scary: having a wasp in your car when you're on the motorway. And it's very dangerous. Lots of people have crashed their cars. In fact, a colleague at work crashed their car because they had a wasp in the car and they were trying to get, imagine a wasp flying in front of you when you're driving.
Yeah.
That's panic stations.
Yes.
Got to resist the panic because you could kill yourself and somebody else.
Panic.
Yeah. Yes.
Panic is something that can get you into all sorts of trouble, you see. Panic.
My friend crashed her car
Yes.
a few years ago because there was a wasp in the car and she was doing all this, get rid of it, and she crashed.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Steve. So I can safely say that Steve dislikes wasps and bees because we are going to talk about this after 3:00. We are talking about wasps, bees, stings. Those are things that you might like or dislike. I would imagine that you dislike them, but we will also be talking about lots of other things that we might like or dislike. And that's what we're talking about later. So I have some of my dislikes and also some of my likes. I have a list and Steve has his. But what about you?
Yes.
Is there anything you like or anything you dislike?
Don't feel as though you've got to say you like Mr. Duncan's English lessons because we just accept that is true anyway.
Yes. But if you dislike me, you can say so. You can say, Mr. Duncan, we don't like you.
Nobody dislikes you.
Although I would ask why you watch me, to be honest.
But Stefano says something interesting here.
Yes.
Stung by a wasp while I was driving a Vespa.
Okay.
A Vespa.
But you know why that's funny? Because Vespa is also wasp.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Am I right there? I'm sure Vespa means wasp.
Does it?
In Italian.
Well, if so, then that is ironic.
Yes.
But maybe
yes, it says there.
Stefano.
Look, wasp in Italian.
Ah, right.
I'm right. Wow. Thank you. Oh.
Fancy being stung by a wasp on a motorbike that's named after a wasp.
Yes, you see.
That's irony. Is it irony? I think it's irony.
It might be ironic. It might also be just an unfortunate coincidence.
Interestingly enough, Vespa motorbikes, well-known Italian brand, have been popular for many years in this country. I don't think they are now,
No.
but they're sort of small bikes, aren't they?
Well, they make a buzzing noise.
Yes, like a wasp. My mother and father, before I was born,
Yes.
used to ride around London on a Vespa. What do you think of that, Stefano?
I thought you were going to say that your mother and father had you on the back when you were a baby. So clinging to the back.
No, but yes. So my mother and father lived in London. Well, I was born in London. And so yes, that's it. I remember now. My mother said she was pregnant with me.
Oh, my God.
And she was on the back of the Vespa bike with my father driving.
Yes.
And it was very icy. And the bike skidded. And my mother fell off the back of the bike.
I thought you were going to say, Steve, I thought you were going to say you were conceived on the back of the bike.
I don't want to think about that. But yes, my mother fell off and she was pregnant with me. So that probably explains a lot of the issues that I have now.
Yes, it
I was
explains
probably damaged in the womb.
Well, maybe your little embryo was wearing a crash helmet.
Well, I probably got brain damage as a result of that.
I'm pretty sure.
but yeah.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Yes. It's either that or when a brick fell on my head when I was at primary school.
Interesting.
That is true. A brick fell on my head.
You know what I'm noticing? Even when you were still inside your mummy, you were very accident prone. You seem to have medical emergencies all the time. Anyway, moving on from that, we are talking about likes and dislikes. We've got to move on, Steve.
Okay, yeah, fine.
I know you want to talk about wasps for another hour, but we can't. There is a format.
By the way, Saturino, I haven't been queuing for petrol.
No, we haven't done it.
We haven't done it.
We're sensible people.
Well, we don't go anywhere, so we don't need petrol.
Well, people that don't go anywhere are getting petrol.
I know. I'm joking.
Because they're idiots.
I already had half a tank of petrol, and I'm not planning to go anywhere until next weekend. So.
Okay, good.
Right. So no, I have not been.
So
but yes,
is this your inner monologue?
Yeah, anything that's in here has to come out.
Okay, Steve.
I have to verbalise any thought.
But it doesn't make very interesting viewing.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure the sort of psychotic behaviour of my mind is interesting to our viewers. If we had a psychologist on, I'm sure they could diagnose some issues.
Yeah. Oh, there's issues, definitely. So like and dislike. We're going to look at some words, first of all, connected to this subject. And then, afterwards, we're going to look at our own dislikes and likes. So actual things that we might like and dislike. So like and dislike words and phrases. Well, I suppose it is fair to say that it is impossible to enjoy everything around us. But why is that so? Why do some people like things and some people dislike the same things? It's a very interesting thing. I always feel fascinated by why some people can like a certain thing, but then another person completely dislikes it, or perhaps they have no interest in that thing at all. It always fascinates me, to be honest. So it is impossible to enjoy everything around us. Some things that one person likes might not be something that another person likes as well. An opinion on whether something is liked or disliked is subjective. I like that. So when we talk about being subjective, it is your own feelings towards something, not how something actually is in reality or as a fact.
It's not evidence-based.
No, it's not based on evidence or any fact, but it is just the way you feel about it. And quite often we will say that thing is subjective. That feeling is a little bit like an opinion, really, your feeling. Each person has their own preferences. So this is an interesting word, preferences. So when you think of preferences, Steve, what would you say?
Yes, you like one thing better over another.
So maybe you have a list of things to actually like, but maybe on that list, all of the things you might like, but you might have your favourites. So quite often, a preference is something that you like most of all, the things you would always choose if you were given that choice.
Yes, you could say, I prefer sweet potatoes over normal potatoes.
Yes. What about, okay, Steve, I'll try something here. Tea or coffee?
I prefer tea.
Sleeping or being awake?
That's a very odd question to ask.
It isn't. Some people love going to sleep.
Well,
some people love dreaming.
I would prefer to be in the land of the living, so I would prefer to be awake.
I would prefer you to be awake as well.
That's a strange question to ask, because normally, if you're talking about preferences, the things would have to be quite close to each other. So you would say, I mean, for example, I could say to you, do you prefer beef or chicken?
Oh, well, I think chicken would always be my favourite.
If you had to choose.
I like white meat.
Well, I tend to like dark meat, but we won't go into that.
Oh,
You set me up for that, Mr.
okay then,
Duncan.
Steve.
Okay, yes,
Here's
yes.
another one. Oranges or mangoes?
That's a tough one. I probably would say I prefer oranges.
There you go.
Yes,
So-
Mr. Duncan.
Okay. What about...
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you prefer the iPhone or a Samsung phone?
iPhone.
Ah.
And before anyone
Well-
says anything, I don't have the new iPhone, the iPhone 13. I don't have it. It's too expensive. I wish I could have one, but I can't, unfortunately, because they are expensive. But I do have my trusty iPhone 6S, which is very, very old, but still works incredibly well. So yeah, that's a good one, Steve. You might say iOS or Android as a choice or a preference. So some people prefer to have an Android phone, and some people prefer to have an Apple phone, which runs on iOS.
Yes, you could be have some friends round, and you could be making a drink, and then you could say to them, "Oh, I've got some biscuits. Would you prefer the ginger biscuits or the plain iced biscuits, for example?"
Iced biscuits.
Well, just yeah. But so you've got two types of biscuits. You could say, "Well, which ones would you prefer? I've got ginger nuts, or I've got digestive."
Well, I've always wondered what colour your nuts were.
There we go. So ginger nuts is a particular type of very hard biscuit with ginger in it
Yes,
that you either love or hate.
that's it.
They
So
break your teeth.
So preferences are things that you would choose if you had a choice of more than one thing. The thing that you prefer to have is the thing that you like more than the other things. I suppose milk or cream in your coffee. Mr. Steve, I think Steve would say cream, and I would say cream as well. It's quite nice having cream in your coffee. It makes it nice and milky, and the flavour is much nicer.
I've got another one for you. Mr. Duncan, do you prefer fruit scones or cheese scones?
That's easy. Cheese scones every
So
time.
you would say, I prefer cheese scones. Rosa said that she has been watching a recipe of scones with clotted cream.
Yes.
Yes, clotted cream is something, I think it's fairly specific to the UK. But we had that yesterday. It's very, very, it's almost like butter.
Yes, it's solid. So think
quite
of cream, but think of it solid. Very solid and stiff, but it's gorgeous. And of course, For those wondering, yes, I am sticking to my special diet and my exercise regime is carrying on. Although last night we had a little treat. I had some meat last night. I'm not eating much meat at the moment, but we had some lovely lamb last night. So each person has their own preference. We are looking at likes and dislikes a little bit later on.
Lots of people have been talking about this polenta. I do want to try this polenta with meat. Well, I wonder if it is corn flour.
Well, it might be corn flour.
I think is it yellowy in colour? Because I use corn flour it won't be polenta, it's probably just the inside because it's white. But in the UK we use corn flour a lot to thicken soups and sauces because it's very difficult for it not to go lumpy. You get a much smoother. If you use flour to thicken a sauce, it's very easy to get lumps. But if you use corn flour, you virtually never get lumps. But anyway, that's another thing altogether.
Okay. And this is the person, by the way, who said earlier that my story was boring. My conversation was not very interesting.
So yes, so we use corn flour in this country mainly to thicken things,
yes,
soups. But obviously in other countries they use it actually turn it into a dish. But is it yellow? Does it look like corn? Yellow? Is it sort of got all the husk and everything in it? Oh yes, I think I'm right. Somebody said. I want to try polenta. I'm going to Italy, Mr. Duncan. Via Brazil.
Good. Okay. None of this seems appropriate for what we're talking about. A preference is a thing preferred, something you would rather have. If you were given a choice, then the preferred thing is what you would choose. As we just said, if you would prefer milk or no milk, maybe you like your coffee black, or maybe you like it with milk. So there you can have a preference. Which do you prefer? One person's taste differs from another person's. So when we talk about taste, I find that quite an interesting subject. Your taste relates to the things you like, something you find attractive, maybe a certain type of decor in your house, maybe a certain colour that you like to paint your house with. Maybe some people like bright colours, some people like neutral colours. Maybe the type of person, your taste in men.
Yes,
or
your women.
Or your taste in women. So what is your perfect man? What is your perfect woman?
What do you look for? Yes.
What is your perfect partner? The person that you would like to be with. We can talk about a person's taste.
Yes, if you say, often you can say in this country, that person, they have very good taste. Very good taste. That refers to them making choices on things which are perceived to be very good.
Yes.
Like you might go to you might have lots of CDs of classical music.
Okay.
And you've got lovely artistic pictures. Yeah. And someone would say, and you choose nice sculptures for your house. And someone might say, yes, he's got very good taste.
Yes.
So in other words, you're not choosing cheap things, you're choosing expensive, exclusive things. You might buy some furniture, but it's not just, you don't just go to IKEA and buy a flat pack table. You go to an antique shop and you buy this 200-year-old table made of oak and all.
Yes. Okay, Steve.
Taste. Do you go to the ballet? Yes, they've got good taste.
So quite often, having good taste quite often relates to your sophistication.
Yes.
So we see things as being sophisticated. By the way, sorry, Sweden, we do like IKEA furniture.
Oh yes.
Yes.
But you wouldn't say to somebody who had IKEA furniture in their house, they've got good taste. You probably wouldn't say that. Very good furniture, But I mean, I've got, the Billy bookcases.
Yes.
They make about 1 million a minute, I think, of those.
Oh, Steve,
But yes, so we've all got IKEA furniture,
Yes.
probably. But you wouldn't say it was tasteful.
This is not the conversation we're
Because
having.
it's mass produced.
Yeah, okay, Steve. You fix on the wrong thing. So one person's taste can differ. The thing chosen is the desired or wanted based on preference. So something you want, something you desire, something you are looking out for, perhaps. Ooh.
Yes. Sorry.
You like that thing the most. You seem to forget what we're supposed to be doing, Steve. What, Steve?
Well, because the other meaning of taste, Vittoria has pointed out, is obviously, when you it's a taste, it's one of your senses.
Yes.
But when you use taste in the way that we've just been using it, it's not just. It's similar to that. It's what you like. What when you eat food, you're tasting things that you like.
Yes.
But when it's your taste in men or your taste in women or your taste in furniture, that's a different thing. It's just what you like.
Yes. In that sense, we're talking about the actual sense itself. So how you taste things in your mouth. The other type of taste is your judgment of things around you, the things that you like, the things you prefer. So yes, there are two ways of looking at it. So you like one particular thing the most. You like it most of all. We express like as an approval of something. You approve of that thing. You like it. For example, maybe you like this that you're watching now. So don't forget to give us a lovely like if you like this.
Please do.
You approve. You like it. It is something that you like because you approve of it. You approve of that particular thing. Thus, you like it. You might like a piece of music or a certain animal. So we will be looking at things that we like and dislike in a few moments. Also, to feel comfortable with something will lead you to liking it. Something you feel comfortable with, a certain type of thing that you like to experience, maybe a certain type of person. So there are people that you meet, Steve, in life that you might feel uncomfortable with, or maybe you dislike them for some reason. But if you like them, then quite often we say that we feel comfortable with that person. That person makes us feel relaxed. You feel comfortable with that person. And there are many ways of expressing like, of course, like, approve, accept, agree, desire, support. You might give approval. You might show favour. So maybe you might give more to a particular person because you like them more than other people. You show favour. And of course you can give the thumbs up. The one that everyone knows nowadays. If you like something, maybe on the internet, if you want to show your appreciation of something, you will give it a like. And if you like this, feel free to do the same thing as well. The opposite of like, of course, Steve, is dislike. You were going to say?
Thumbs down. No, carry on, Mr. Duncan.
Thumbs down. You dislike that particular thing. You do not like it at all. To disapprove of or show disdain. Oh, I like that word. So something you don't like, something you would rather not have or do or experience, you can say that you show disdain. I like that word. A disliked thing will be avoided or shunned. A person might dislike a certain food or type of music. So is there a type of food that you don't like, Steve?
I don't like. I don't like shellfish. I don't like sort of prawns or mussels or crab. or lobster. I don't like. I like sort of fish generally, like cod or haddock or mackerel, but I don't like what we call here shellfish, which is, as I say, crabs, prawns, lobsters, that sort of thing.
So have you ever had crabs? What?
I know what you're referring to.
Have
Mr.
you ever had crabs? It's a simple question.
Have I ever eaten crabs?
Yes.
Would be the correct way of phrasing that sentence, Mr. Duncan.
I once went to a beach at midnight and I came back with crabs because they're everywhere on the beach. You can catch them very easily.
Here's something interesting. Marcia, you can get lotion to get rid of that from the chemist, Mr. Duncan, to get rid of crabs. I haven't seen you itching very much recently, so maybe everything's all right. Marcia says everyone's talking about. I tell you, William really started something with his polenta because everyone is still talking about polenta and all the various recipes.
So it is
can be incorporated.
So have we decided that it is corn flour?
Yes.
It's corn flour.
Yes. That can be fried, put into a pot, all sorts of things. Marcia says, I like the Portuguese dessert. I nearly said desert. Dessert. Travesseiro. I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly. Somebody asked, what is that? And apparently it's a speciality from the region of Sintra.
Oh.
Which, of course,
Portugal.
We went to.
Yes, we know Sintra.
And I bet we've tasted Travesseiro. I can't remember, but I bet we had that in a restaurant.
Well, I do remember when we were in Portugal, there were some lovely shops and they had the most amazing cakes and desserts. And Portugal is well known for its sweet desserts and cakes. And yeah, I did try some. I did actually sample some of the lovely cakes. We might have even had that.
Yes. Well, we've been to Sintra, so we've definitely tasted that, I'm sure.
Yes.
But I can't remember what it was. But I'd like to, maybe somebody can tell us.
So here are some words that can be used as synonyms of dislike. You might abhor something. Abhor. You loathe something.
Oh, that man. I abhor him.
So
it means you don't like them.
Something you don't like. Loathe. I like that one. That's a great word. I loathe that man.
Abhor is quite a sort of a posh way of saying you don't like somebody, isn't it? If somebody said, "Oh, I'm going to a party. Who's coming? Oh, Donald's coming to that party. Oh, I abhor that man." Yes, you probably would say it like that. It's disdain.
Yes, it is actually something you find repulsive, something that repulses you or sickens you, can abhor you. So you find it abhorrent. So that's where it comes from. And also detest, despise. You might despise someone. You dislike them. You spurn someone. You exclude them. You push them away because you don't like them. You avoid someone. You steer clear of something. So if you dislike something, you steer clear of it. You avoid it. And you have an aversion to something. An aversion is a dislike, something you can't stand, something you don't want to see or hear or taste. You have an aversion.
No, Palmyra, I have never tried frog's legs. Just as I have never tried snails. Probably I would put snails in the same category as sort of oysters and mussels and shrimps.
Yes.
I know they're not related. Well, they probably are related. They're supposed to taste nice, those snails, aren't they?
Do you know who's here? Jurshid. We haven't seen Jurshid for a long time.
Haven't we?
Welcome back. welcome back, Jurshid. It's very nice to see you back here again, watching in Uzbekistan.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it when we have people from what we think are quite exotic places.
Shirin says Travesero means pillow.
Yes, somebody said that. It does mean that. But is it so? It must be a very sort of light, fluffy dessert.
Maybe the shape of it. Maybe the shape. Maybe it looks like a pillow. I like it.
Tomek is into self-loathing.
We have noticed, by the way. We have noticed.
I'm sure you have many positive qualities, Tomek, and those are the ones you should focus on.
Yes.
Easy to say because we all get into.
Don't take it. I can't believe Steve is giving this type of advice.
Yes, you can. You can loathe yourself. You can be self-loathing.
Yes.
You look at yourself in the mirror and you say, "Oh, what an awful nose! I'm just an ugly person. I hate myself."
Yes.
And it's you can't. I'm sure you have many positive qualities,
Yes.
Tomek.
Yes.
You have no need to be self-loathing.
We all have a certain amount of self-loathing. Maybe something we wish we'd done better, or maybe something we wish we wouldn't do as a habit. So it's normal. I think it is normal to have some self-loathing, something you dislike about yourself.
Of course, with me, I look in the mirror, I think, oh, what a beauty. So handsome, so loved.
Well, let's not
I'm joking.
let's not get too carried away. So we are now going to look at our lists. Oh, here we go.
What list?
Our lists of likes and dislikes. The
All
thing
right.
that I asked you to prepare.
I think that the live stream will light up when we ask people to tell us what they like and dislike. Are we starting with likes first or dislikes?
I think we'll start with the positives first. Things that you like. So you can do this as well. Don't be shy. So we're going to exchange some of the things that we don't like and the things we do like. So first of all, we are looking at our like list.
I like list. See, I thought you said things you love and things you hate.
No. Well, I said the lesson is about like and dislike.
I completely misheard you. I probably had my ear defenders on because I was about to go out and mow the grass.
One of the things I dislike about Mr. Steve is he never listens to me. Never. So even though we are doing our likes, can I just say I dislike when Mr. Steve doesn't listen to me? Well, I suppose you can have love and hate
Yes.
to mean like and dislike. So it's not exactly incorrect. Don't worry.
Palmyra has mentioned the opposite of self-loathing, which I was obviously acting, pretending, when I said that I look in the mirror and think, oh, how wonderful. That is somebody, you would call them a narcissist. A narcissist, somebody who loves themselves, as opposed to somebody who's self-loathing.
Yes.
And you can always tell a narcissist when you go to their house. If you visit a narcissist, if you visit somebody's house and they've got lots of pictures of themselves
Yes.
on the wall everywhere, and I know somebody that was like that, pictures of themselves everywhere, a narcissist. They love themselves.
Of course, it comes from Narcissus, the young youth who fell in love with his own reflection. And he fell in the water and drowned.
Nice.
So be careful.
Yeah, so I don't think we've got any danger of that happening to
No,
us.
definitely not.
But and it doesn't sound like...
Anyway, Steve, I don't know where you're going with this because...
No, I don't. Right, okay then. Things that I like. I think a lot of people know what I like.
Yes.
I
Well,
like gardening.
okay then.
Yes.
That's very general.
Yeah, I like taking exercise,
Okay.
going for a run, as long as I'm not being stung by a revengeful wasp,
Yes.
that is. I like socialising, talking to people. I like music, listening to music, dancing to music, acting, performing. anymore?
Well,
Snuggling.
oh,
I
is
like
that-
snuggling?
snuggling.
Yes.
Being close to the one you love.
Yes.
Maybe in the afternoon you might decide that you want to have a little snuggle with your partner. I suppose that's one of those little special moments that you can share with someone close to you. Yes, I think that's a lovely one. Snuggling. Having a lovely cuddle.
Can't
is
beat it.
Very nice.
Victoria has remembered that I like Mustangs.
Oh dear.
And we're not talking about a particular breed of horse.
No, although the horse does feature on its logo.
It does. Yes.
So, but, okay, cars, generally.
Cars.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
So that's
See,
my list of likes.
I can't believe that wasn't on the top of your list.
Well, I thought you said to me 5, and I thought I'd mentioned more than 5. But yeah, I've
but
always
I-
liked cars.
I still thought that cars would be your top of the list. I have
So
to be
what
honest.
have we got from people here? Right.
So do we have some likes? And then I will show you some of my likes.
Yes. So Maria, I love everything. Oh, I forgot about chocolate. I love everything with chocolate, mostly dark chocolate. Yes. Well, I think
That's
you
a good
know,
one. That's a good
That's
one,
a
isn't
very
it?
good one.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate.
Which do you prefer?
Yes, there you go. You see, you can have a preference there between two different types of chocolate.
What is your taste in chocolate?
So my preference would be milk chocolate. But to be honest with you, if I were to tell you my favourite, it must be mint chocolate. I love chocolate that has also the flavour of mint. So that would be my preference. But I do tend to prefer milk chocolate. So that's a good example there. Good
Alexandra likes fancy cars.
Yes.
Marcia likes music a lot. Milk chocolate for Christina VI. Fishing. Jose likes fishing.
That's a good pastime.
And a lot of men like fishing.
Yes.
I'm wondering whether it's to get away from the wife, because in the UK it's often said that men go fishing to get away from their wives.
Yes.
That's a very common. I don't think it's a misconception. I think it's a very common thing that's why men do it.
Yes. You said exactly the same thing last week, by the way.
Did I? Right. Dolly Parton's song, says Oim Oim.
Yes. Working 9 to 5. What a
Oh.
way to make a living.
Got to say Shirley Bassey, didn't I?
Yes.
That's another one of my likes.
Yes. I can't believe Steve did not put Shirley Bassey on his list.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Anyway, we've had yours.
Right, that's it. Music. Dark Chocolate Forever, says Victoria.
Oh.
I like riding my motorbike, says Florence. Yes, that feeling of freedom, just like driving. But people that like motorbikes, they say that the feeling of freedom is unbelievable.
Well, I used to ride a motorbike all the time.
Yes.
I had a motorbike and I used to ride it everywhere. But then I decided to sell it because it became very dangerous, because the roads here in the UK are crazy.
Ooh, Valentina, milk chocolate with nuts.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you see, my favourite chocolate bar is fruit and nut. So I like the nuts and the raisins with the chocolate.
Oh, Shirin. Shirin can read my mind. I think so. After 8 mints. Yes. A certain type of mint, very thin, like a wafer. And it's dark chocolate on the outside, but beautiful, fondant, soft mint cream on the inside. Yes, I do like After 8s very much.
Is there a phrase, likes of me? I don't think Zershid has said, what does it mean when people say likes of me?
Yes. Well, we are talking about preferences and maybe a group of people. So other people around you who like the same thing as you, you might describe them as the likes of you.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yes. So they are like you. They are the likes of me. They are similar to me. So that's what it means. When you say the likes of me, we mean people who are similar to myself. The likes of me, maybe your level in society or your class. We talk about the likes of me. Maybe a person who is very wealthy talks to you in the street, and you are shocked because you can't believe that they will talk to someone who is the likes of you, because you would imagine that they wouldn't want to speak to you. So yes, you can use it when you are referring to a group away from yourself, but a group that has similar feelings or similar habits or a similar level in society as yourself.
Yes, you could say, oh, the likes of me, the likes of you and me are never going to become rich and famous.
No, the likes of us.
So what the likes of us are never going to become rich and famous. You could say that as a phrase, meaning that we don't have the right connections in society or the talent or something like that. You might want a promotion at work.
Yes.
And you might say, well, the likes of people like you and me, we're never going to get promoted in this company.
Okay, Steve. Mr. Bruno has a list of likes. I love my dog, astronomy, languages, and Mr. Steve's sense of humour.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno.
I didn't know you had one. I didn't realise you had a sense of humour.
Thank you very much. I'll take any compliment.
Tomek says, at the top of my list of likes is learning new things. The other things are walking, watching movies, and sport.
Sport.
Yes. So maybe watching sport, but also taking part in sport as well can be something that people enjoy doing, something they like.
Nugget, says Saturino. Tyrone nugget. Oh, do you mean... what's that triangular chocolate? Toblerone. I think Toblerone is what you mean by that type of chocolate. It's nugget, and yes, I think you mean Toblerone.
Yes.
But nugget is it pulls the fillings out of your teeth.
Yeah.
It's very sort of white. I think it's sort of sugar mixed with flour or something.
Well, I think nugget is like a mixture of toffee and nut.
Yes,
isn't it?
With nuts in it, and it breaks your teeth.
It has that flavour. But yes, Toblerone. If anyone ever comes back from maybe the UK or Europe, you can guarantee that they will come back normally with a giant bar of Toblerone. It always happens. I don't know why.
When talking about particular brands of chocolate,
Yes.
Godiva,
Okay. Very expensive.
Godiva, we've mentioned it before. Very expensive chocolate, normally found in fridges, in expensive sort of boutique type shops, or
Boutique.
if you're in a you're flying, going out to fly abroad somewhere, and you're in the duty free section,
Yes.
you find these expensive Godiva chocolates in a gold, and they're absolutely the best quality chocolates I've ever tasted.
Yeah. Even a very small box of Godiva chocolates, maybe 30 or 40 pounds for a tiny box of chocolates. I don't think so.
Yes, Lindt chocolate.
Yes, okay, Steve.
Of course.
We've got to move on.
When I was growing up, if you had Lindt chocolate, you knew that was expensive chocolate.
Yes. Here we go, Steve. We've got to move on because we haven't had my like list yet.
Oh, well, by the way, are we doing a certain something later today?
We might be if we have time.
Right,
but,
let's get this right.
But you've got to stop doing that all the time.
Teacher, yes, likes learning, writing, and speaking English. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Good.
you.
You are my kind of viewer. I like you a lot. Thank you. I like anyone that comes here who likes English, the language.
Lint balls, yes.
Sorry?
Yes, I know the ones you mean. Those what are those in the red, and yes, they're all soft inside.
Yes.
What do we call? You like them? I often buy them.
Well, it's Lindor.
Lindor, that's it.
Yes. So they have chocolate on the outside, and inside it's soft, fondant, very soft cream that normally has a flavour. I really want to eat some chocolate, but I can't. I can't, unfortunately. Here we go, Steve. So these are my likes.
Go on then.
Mr.
Oh, I see you. Yeah.
Mr. Duncan's likes. Number 1. Rainbows.
Rainbow. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Rainbows.
There is nothing nicer than seeing a rainbow in the sky.
That's true.
When
That's
you
true.
see a rainbow in the sky, something happens. You feel happy. You feel jolly. It does something to you. It uplifts you. So I think that's a good one.
Yes.
There it is again.
There's always a-
Rainbows. Because they are magical. You don't see rainbows all the time. So whenever you see a rainbow, it always seems special. It seems extra special. It is a moment of time that you always go, ooh, I can see a rainbow. Isn't that lovely? And then you will stare at the rainbow and you will feel as if you are experiencing a magical moment.
And you, of course, always make that joke that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yes.
That's what we say in the UK. I don't know if it's said in other countries.
Alfredo, hello Alfredo, says, can you believe I heard of your classes from 2008? That's a long time ago. Thank you, Alfredo, and nice to see you back. I hope you have been regularly watching my live streams. Very nice. Here we go, Steve.
We had somebody new today as well, watching from Udom, called himself the old man in Bangkok.
Well, that is one of our regular contributors on the comments.
So welcome.
Yes.
Today.
So I love rainbows. I like them, even though if it's raining and the sun is shining, you can guarantee that there will be a rainbow somewhere nearby. Chocolate. I love chocolate, but one of the big problems at the moment is I can't eat it because I am losing some weight and exercising a little bit more. So I have to be very careful. Here's another one, Steve. I like this one. This is one of my big likes. Smiles.
Oh,
I like smiles. There is nothing nicer than seeing someone smile. It is one of the most wonderful human actions that exists because you can give them away for free. They don't cost anything. A smile costs nothing, and quite often, if you smile at someone, you will get one in return. You will get a smile in return, and they cost nothing. So I love smiling. Have you ever tried smiling at a stranger in the street, Steve? Have you ever tried smiling at a stranger?
no, because you get very funny looks.
Yes, it is strange, isn't it? If you walk down the road, maybe try it tomorrow. If you are walking out tomorrow, although it's very difficult at the moment because some people are still wearing face masks. So it is hard to smile at someone if you are wearing a face mask. I suppose you could carry one of these around. You could have one of these in your hand and just use this instead. So if you are still wearing your face mask, you can do this.
Very quickly, I'd just like to say Zershid has said that English people don't like drinking tea on its own. They like to add something to it. Yes, we usually always add milk to tea. Milk and maybe sugar, but that's it.
So what I was going to say, yes, I suppose it depends on the type of tea. So there are types of tea that can have milk and others that normally don't, like black tea normally has milk. So most people prefer their tea with milk, like us, we do.
Victoria says you can smile with your eyes.
Yes. But I prefer to see one with the mouth.
Jimmy says, does anyone else here enjoy sniffing the pages of old books? Yes, well, they do have, yes, there is something about going to a second-hand book. I mean, maybe you want to rephrase that a little. But when you go to a second-hand book shop, old books have a certain smell, and I can see that there would be an appeal there in that. So yes, they've got so a slightly fusty smell. I wouldn't say I would go make a point of going around to bookstores sniffing books.
No.
What about the smell of new magazines?
Nude magazines.
New.
Oh, I see.
New.
I thought you said nude.
They do have a certain smell, don't they? A sort of. It's like you like the smell of opening new electrical equipment.
Oh, that is a yes. Well, that is my favourite, because whenever you get something, maybe a new camera or a new computer or anything electronic, and it's all sealed up in the box, and then you open the box and you, for the first moment, you can smell. There's that smell
Yes.
of new things, maybe a new phone. Perhaps you've just taken delivery of your new iPhone 13, and maybe you've opened the box and it has that new phone smell.
Yes. You've hit on something here, Jimmy. If you say you've hit on something, it means you've said something or discovered something that everybody else wants to talk about. Yes, the smell of soil when it rains,
Yes.
says Shirin. Yeah, exactly. Or there's a certain smell in hot countries as well. When it rains. Yes, there is. Because when it gets it always reminds us, because the hottest place that we've ever been to is Malaysia. And you don't realise there's a certain... When you first get there, you notice there's a smell, and it's to do with not a nasty smell, it's to do with the heat. And when it gets very hot in this country, up to sort of 35, 36 levels, that same smell in the air, you get that same smell in the air, which is somehow due to the heat that does something to the pavements or something.
Yes.
I don't know what it is.
Something.
New furniture or the smell of fresh bread.
Your own farts. What?
Trust you, Mr.
What's wrong with that? People do. People like sniffing their own farts. It happens. I've caught people doing it. I've seen them. Oh, that's a good one.
The smell of babies. Yes, Zershid. No, it's true.
Please, can I just have a disclaimer here? Please do not go around sniffing other people's babies.
Well, Zershid has got a daughter and likes the smell. Yeah, well, people do. People say they like the smell of babies, that they've got a certain smell.
They certainly have a certain smell sometimes.
A new car interior,
The
yes.
smell of poop.
A new car interior, yes.
Yes.
Has a certain smell, and it makes you feel good, even though it's probably poisonous.
Yeah.
Because it's all the smell of the plastics and the glue.
Anyway, we still have our dislikes.
Perfume. Go
What?
on. No, I've forgotten.
We
now.
still have dislikes. So here is a couple of more likes from me. 80s music.
Oh.
Now I know that we are of a certain age, and we grew up as teenagers in the 1980s, and maybe some of you as well. I love music from the 1980s. I suppose it's because that is the music that I grew up with. I suppose so. 80s music.
Talking of records, vinyl records. Stefano had a friend that used to smell you use the word perfume. I think you mean the scent, the smell.
The aroma.
Yes, just the smell. You wouldn't use perfume in that sentence. Perfume is specifically something that you know,
Yes.
the scent or the smell of
Yes.
a vinyl record.
So, yes, the smell, or quite often we will probably say aroma. The aroma or the smell of something.
They do have a certain smell of vinyl records. It's
Yeah.
plastic again.
Jimmy from Hong Kong says, "Video killed the radio star." Oh, I like that one. A classic 80s song. I heard you on a wireless back in 52. lying awake in Kansas tuning in on you. And I was young and it stopped you coming through. Oh, oh. Did you like that?
I'm sure that Jimmy did.
The Buggles. Classic.
Yes, 80s music. You know. Anyway.
I love 80s music. Spandau Ballet.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned
Human League.
as one of your likes. Have you finished all your likes?
No.
Okay. Can I guess what one of them might be? A certain detective show.
Oh, I see. Well, no, I haven't put that. I haven't put that, but I know what you mean, yes. 80s music. What about classic Ultravox, Depeche Mode?
Oh. We've only got 10 minutes. We haven't done the dislikes.
Yes, well...
We were going to do the sentence game, weren't we?
Yes, well, maybe. That was always going to be a maybe.
Right.
That was always a maybe. Here's another one. I like mangoes. I'm having a current phase. Would you describe it as a phase, maybe? Yes.
Andre hates 80s music. There we go. Well,
That's it.
that's your preference.
Some people like it, and some people don't.
That 80s music is not your taste in music.
And of course, don't forget the Pet Shop Boys. Oh, I was a big fan of them. Yes.
So, Andres, what is your taste in music? So, what do you prefer? What do you like?
Yes. I like sunny days. Days where the sun is shining, where everything is lovely. And I suppose, finally, I should say nature. I love nature. I love being surrounded by the beautiful green trees, all of the beautiful birds singing high above my head, and all of the little animals that you might see from time to time scurrying around.
Susie and the Banshees, says Stefano.
Susie and
Is
the
that an
Banshee.
80s band?
Yes,
Right.
Susie.
The Cure.
Susie was a woman.
I know. Spandau
Susie
Ballet.
Sue. Susie and
Joy
the Banshees.
Division. Yes. Look, you can tell there's a lot of people watching us of a similar age.
Yes.
You
Old.
No, the best age. I think if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, I think that was the best time to grow up in, I think.
So here we go. We're going to have dislikes, Steve.
Right.
So we've had likes, and now we're going to have to move on to the slightly more depressing side, your
Right.
dislike list. So here we go, Steve. Can we have your first dislike?
A lot of my dislikes centre around people,
Yeah,
other people.
mine too.
So I would say I don't like selfish, disrespectful people. Neighbours, for example,
Okay.
who decide to annoy you with things like barking dogs, machinery in the garden, things like that. People that just don't think of what effect they're having on other people living near them.
You mean like this? That's the sort of thing Steve does not like.
Anyway, yes. So, yeah. And I'm thinking as well on the road, people who just, don't show you any respect, just do what they like because they think they can get away with it. They don't care there's no consequences. People like that. It's people. I don't like people. No, I do like people. I like everyone, of course, that's watching this show, even a certain person who's not here this week. Which we hope that they will come back, don't we? Yes. There was things going on last week.
Yes.
But
That's
we
it.
hope that person can come back again.
Yes.
And can behave themselves.
Yes.
We would welcome them back into the fold.
Well, that's not going to
Into
happen.
the fold.
I don't think that's going to happen because they are now blocked.
Well, not permanently, surely.
We will see. We
No,
will see.
we mustn't do that, Mr. Duncan. We mustn't block
Hey,
people.
don't blame me. I didn't block them.
Well, we can unblock them. Anyway, we mustn't put people out in the cold.
Come on, Steve. Another dislike.
Another dislike, right, is IT issues.
Oh, so when you say IT, you mean
What I mean is sort of IT systems at work
yes,
that are just very, very annoying, time-consuming, frustrating, having to put constant passwords in every... Just
information technology.
overcomplicated IT.
Yes,
Computers
Yes.
that don't work. Or at work, we've got sort of apps for everything, and each app's got its own password. And they, after 5 minutes, it defaults. You can't change the setting. You've got to keep putting the password back in. Oh, it's just so annoying. It
Yeah.
causes me more stress and anger than anything else.
I think it would be fair to say that Steve just generally dislikes technology
Yes,
as well.
that is true.
Yes, I think
is
it would be
true.
fairer to say that you just dislike technology. One more,
Loud noises.
loud noises.
I don't like loud noises.
Okay then.
Sudden loud noises like a balloon going bang, something like that. I just don't like. I don't like loud noises.
Loud noises.
I don't like road noise in a car. I've got to think about. My ears are very sensitive. I talk about road noise, and people say, "What do you talk? I think your car's very quiet." But all I can hear is a sort of roar of road noise, tyres on the tarmac, which annoys me. I don't like it.
Okay, enough of that. Oh, another one.
I was going to say this could be very controversial, so I don't think I'll say
God.
it. What do you think? Should I say that, Mr. Duncan? Or should we stay away from that
probably-
subject? Let's stay away from it.
Probably best to stay away from that one
Yes.
for today because we are
Change. Having to accept change.
Yes. What you mean, like when you spend money, you have to get change from the shop assistant.
Yeah, I mean, a constant change in everything in the world.
Oh,
But you have to keep up to date with changes and modern ways of doing things, because if you don't, you fall behind and you become like your parents that don't even know what an iPhone is, or so I don't like change.
No.
Right, that's me.
that's it. It's very easy nowadays to get left behind because things change all the time. I think so. Here's another one, Steve. So here we go with my dislikes.
Okay,
Would you like to see my dislikes? Here they come.
Marcia's going. Bye-bye.
See you later, Marcia. Here's mine, Steve. We were out yesterday having a meal, a little snack. Open rudeness. When people are openly rude. And that means that maybe the way they treat other people around them. Perhaps a person who is sitting in a restaurant or a cafe and they think they are better than the people serving them. So they will treat the waitress or the waiter badly, as if they are, not as sophisticated. They treat them as if they are maybe a lower class. So they will be openly rude. They will treat them badly. A bit like your dad. Your dad used to be a bit like that. He used to treat people quite, if serving,
Speak ill of the dead, Mr. Duncan.
service people serving you. So I don't like that. I don't like it when people talk down to those around them. Feeling cold. I do not like feeling
No,
cold.
you don't.
I hate the cold, just like my mum. My mother, whenever I went round to her house, she would always have the heating on, even in the summer. And I think my mother and myself are very similar in that respect. So I do not like feeling cold. I don't like cold, low temperatures when it's freezing cold. I don't like being in the house when it's cold.
See our heating bills. That's the one thing about in lockdown and the pandemic. I could continuously control the heating because normally when I was out at work in the winter and I'd go out to see my customers, Mr. Duncan would turn the heating up
Yes.
full, and then I'd come back. The house was boiling hot, and all I could think about was all the fuel that we'd burnt up.
Yes. Well, you can see why.
Because
It's here in front of you.
But the
I
thing
don't-
is, Mr. Duncan won't put a jumper on. He'll be wearing short sleeve shirts or a vest in the winter and turns the heating up. That's one thing I hate. People that waste energy.
Yes. Okay, then well, we're not talking about yours. We're talking about mine.
Zurshid likes the winter and the cold,
Don't like it.
and Owen prefers feeling cold than hot.
Oh.
Which I do, because you can always do something about being cold. You can put a jumper on. You can turn the heating up. You can take some exercise. But if it's too hot, unless you've got air conditioning, there's nothing you can do to cool down.
Anyway,
Yes.
another one. Certain types of food, mushrooms.
Oh, yes.
I don't like it when you buy things, or especially things like pizzas. I don't know what the obsession is, but whenever you see food nowadays, it seems to always have mushrooms inside, whatever it is. Whatever. Pizzas, lasagna, pies, ice cream. They've all got mushrooms in
Ice cream.
as ingredients, and I hate mushrooms.
The mushrooms and ice cream.
No, that was just a it's just a joke.
It's a good marketing
Just a
idea.
little titter there, little titter.
But yes, yeah, that's
I don't
specific
like
to you.
I don't like mushrooms in food, and it would appear that you go to a restaurant or a cafe, and everything on the menu has mushrooms inside, because lots of people now like to eat vegetables, and so many types of food will have mushrooms in them as the ingredients.
Jimmy
I don't like mushrooms.
dislikes at YouTube ads that count down
Oh,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I know which
before
one.
you can skip the ad.
yes. Or of course there are
Yes.
some advertisements on YouTube that you can't even skip. You have to watch them all the way through.
There's more and more of those.
Yes.
And I have to hit the mute button very quickly on my computer.
By the way, before we say anything else, that is one of the ways I try to make a living. I do earn a little bit of money, not much, but I do earn a little bit of money from those adverts. So the next time you see one, please don't be so harsh, don't be so cruel, because you might be helping me in a very small way. Ooh.
Yes, that is true.
Mushrooms in food.
A lot of people saying they don't like a lot of people related dislikes, rude people,
Yes.
wicked people,
Yes.
negative people, racism, routine.
Murderers.
Yeah.
I don't like murderers. They're not on my list. They're definitely off my Christmas card list.
Gloomy days.
Here we go, Steve.
Yeah.
Can you guess what my next one is? This is obvious.
A dislike.
This is obvious.
People who don't watch your English teaching lessons.
That's a lot of people. That's most of the planet. Here we go, Steve. Oh dear. James Corden.
A lot of people won't know him, of course.
A lot of people do know him.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, he's a lot of people know who James Corden is. Trust me, Steve, they do. And I was trying to find a photograph of James Corden that did not make me feel like vomiting, and this is the only one I could find. So this is the picture of James Corden that I've decided to use. I don't know why. I can't explain why I dislike James Corden so much, but he really is annoying. There is something so off-putting. When
Yes.
I see him on TV, he's there, and I'm trying to change the channel. I've got a hammer just in case. So if I ever lose the remote control, I have a giant hammer that I can then throw at the TV, and it will smash the TV screen, and then I won't have to look at James Corden on my TV. So I don't know why. I don't like him. But it would appear that
Irrational dislike.
no, it isn't. I don't think it's irrational, because a lot of other people don't like him either. It's a mystery. I don't know why. So he's so successful and popular, because I don't think I've never met anyone that likes him, to be honest. So I know it might seem as if I'm being cruel and unfair, but I don't like James Corden.
Fine, you don't like him.
I
Fine.
don't like him.
A lot of people are saying that mushrooms are very good for you, which of course they are. There's lots of useful vitamins.
I would rather eat mushrooms in anything than watch a second of James Corden.
What about magic mushrooms, says Tomek?
No,
I've never tried them. I'd
No.
like to.
don't do
Think-
drugs.
I think that's... Well, it's natural, isn't it? It's a natural thing.
Yes, but
There's
it's
magic
yeah,
mushroom.
it's
I've
probably
never tried. I'd
just-
like to. Maybe if we ever meet up,
Just-
you can introduce me to magic mushrooms.
just don't do drugs, okay?
Well, yes. We're not going to preach about that.
I don't like James Corden.
We're not going to preach about things
like
like
it.
that.
Don't know why. It's just
Uh,
there's something. He just. I just see him and I go, "Oh, no, 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 no.
well, Manicia doesn't agree with you, although
Okay.
Vittoria. Oh no, they're talking about a president, a certain president in a South American
You
country.
mean Brazil?
Yes. Yes.
It's not a secret.
There's a bit of a dislike going on for a certain president.
Are there any? Well, when you think about it, has any world leader ever been loved completely? And I think the answer would be no.
There's
No.
North Korean leader. I think he's universally loved
Well,
by his.
Ugh.
know.
Yeah, but you don't really have a choice. You either like him, or you're killed. So it's
So they all love him, obviously, for that very reason. There certainly have been figures that in charge of countries that are loved. I think he's probably one of them.
yes, but not by choice. I'm on about people with free will who are liking their leader. So even I suppose Joe Biden is a good example of that. There are lots of people who feel that he's a good step in the right direction, but there are people who don't like his politics or the way he's handling certain things at the moment. So I don't think there's ever been a leader that people 100% like or get behind. Even Winston Churchill. Do you know what happened to Winston Churchill after he got us through the Second World War? We kicked him out. We voted him out. We said, "Thanks, Winston. Thanks for seeing us through that. Thanks for helping us through World War II. Now get out." So they voted him out. But then, later, they voted him back in as Prime Minister. It's bizarre, that, isn't it?
It is bizarre that I can't remember why that happened. Tomek dislikes Piers Morgan.
Yes. A lot of people don't like
I
Piers.
won't read out what Tomek said about him.
I
but
believe he calls him a condescending jerk.
true. Yeah, self-righteous.
Don't hold back, will you? Tomek, don't hold back. Please tell us what you really think. Here's another one. Steve. YouTube ads where
We've had
people...
that one.
No, wait. I'm
Okay.
clearly not reading the writing on the screen. YouTube ads
Oh.
where people try to sell you courses to help you get rich quick. And YouTube at the moment is full of these awful ads. Have you seen them? It's always a guy and he goes, hi, my name's Brad, and as you can see, I'm just on my private jet at the moment, flying to another important meeting because I'm just such a great guy and I'm wealthy. And you too can become wealthy. All you have to do is follow my simple rules. No one else knows about these rules, only me. But I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to share them with you. And all you have to do is watch this video. But as you watch the video, as you watch the advertisement, they tell you nothing about it. They just keep talking and talking without telling you what the secret is. And then they get to the end of the video and they still haven't told you. So if you want to be in with a chance of changing your fortune and becoming a millionaire overnight, click here. Click this ad. It's terrible.
Olga doesn't like it when this show lasts longer than 2 hours
Oh,
because she's got to go and make dinner for her family.
okay.
So
You can always watch it later.
yes, but we've gone over quite a bit over today, haven't we?
Well, we always do.
Yes.
When have we not gone over 2 hours? When?
Yes. Dislike YouTube ads. Beatrice doesn't like that. Just do bear in mind that some people have to earn a living.
Yes, like
and
me.
Mr. Duncan's one of them.
But I don't make much. A lot of people think I make millions from YouTube, but I don't. I make a very small amount. You would be surprised how little I actually make from doing this. You would not believe it.
Iron Man subscribed to YouTube Premium.
Oh, very
I like the
nice.
sound of that.
That's very good. You have to pay. You pay for YouTube, but you don't get advertisements.
Oh,
What?
that's good. Tomic agree. Oh, I thought Tomic was saying. I just read Tomic and then Jesus. I thought he was saying he didn't like Jesus.
Oh, I see.
But it wasn't. No, it was Jesus. You're right about these ads.
Yeah.
I cannot stand them.
A lot of people like Jesus. He was quite popular. They even wrote a book about him.
Yes. I don't think you could dislike Jesus.
No, he was probably all right. He was probably a good
I don't
guy.
think he ever did any bad things.
No.
All the bad things came afterwards when people misinterpreted things that he said.
Okay, Steve, that's good.
Organised religions.
I was just
We won't go down
being.
that
I was
road.
trying to be jovial, Steve.
Right. Yes.
So YouTube ads where people promise you that they will make you millionaires, but of course they will not. Loud music in shops.
I think you've had enough, Mr. Dunn. Loud music. Yes.
Oh,
I don't understand it. When you go into a shop and they're playing music,
Yeah.
I end up all I can think, all that's going through my head is the music. So I think it's a tactic by the shops because they think that you won't think about what you're buying. You'll just pick something up and buy it.
yeah.
But for me, I just walk out because if I can't concentrate on what I'm buying because of the music, just I can't, because with music with me, it's all consuming.
Okay.
So yes, music in shops, particularly any music.
Just
I
generally.
just want the shops to be quiet.
But what I was going to say is also things like places like cafes and restaurants as well. You go in there and there's music playing away.
That's because they don't want people like you and me to go in. Because
What do you mean,
people
like?
they don't want old people like us. Oh, turn the music down. I can't concentrate on the menu. They want young, vibrant, hip, trendy people.
Okay.
Oh, it's noisy in here. They don't want you in there, a moany person.
But what I was going to say is loud music in shops, but they always. I don't mind music in any place, but they do insist on having it very loud. They turn it right up to 11, which is no good really because it's too loud. You know, you're trying to concentrate. You want to buy something. You don't want music pounding in your head a lot. Right, Steve, this is my last
Time to
one.
go.
No,
Oh,
it's not time to go because I have one more.
dogs. Oh, Mr. Duncan, dogs.
Dogs and their owners.
Oh, but you can't say you don't like dogs. Just dogs owned by other people.
Yes, well, that's why I've quantified it. Dogs.
Yeah, but you said dogs plus that. You mean
And their
Yes.
owners. Dogs and their owners. So the two things when they're together.
Right.
Well, that's it. Plus dogs and their owners when they're together. So a person is walking their dog. I thought that was quite clear, actually. But there you go.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Dogs
Yes.
and their owners. When you're walking along in the countryside, you know, the place we live in,
Yes, and people are walking their dog.
and they're walking with their
and the
stupid dog.
isn't on a lead.
Yes, well, not just that. It's worse than that, Steve. It's much worse than that.
And they let the dog poo on the paths.
Yes.
Of course, in the UK, virtually everybody has a dog.
Hmm.
Virtually, I would say, you know, if there's one thing you want to take from today about what British people like, and that's owning dogs.
Yes. People have gone crazy in this country owning dogs. They want one dog, then they have two dogs, then they have three. And one of the most annoying things is when they walk around leaving the poop in plastic bags.
I'm not joking. This is what people do
This-
because there's a law was introduced. Go on, you do it then.
I thought this was my bit.
Go on then.
This is my dislike. You've had yours. People go around and they let their dog do a poop, but then they put the poop in the bag and they leave the bag hanging from a tree with the poop still inside. What do they think is going to happen to that poop? Do they imagine that maybe at night a little poop fairy flies around, taking away all those little bags of poop to a magical place where they are turned into gold? No, no, it doesn't happen like that.
People are stupid. Yes, there's a law that if your dog poos, you're supposed to pick it up, but only in the towns, not when you're walking out in the country. Stupid people. Obviously, it's the countryside.
Yes. What do you think is going to happen to that plastic bag full of poop? What's going to happen to it? Nothing happens to it. It just hangs there forever.
But this is what people do in the UK because there's a law was introduced not that long ago. You must pick up your dog's poop. They don't mean when you're out in the middle of nowhere in a wood because it's going to break down naturally.
But you can still pick it up.
But yes,
Especially-
just put it onto. But don't put it in a plastic bag.
I think
The
Steve-
idiots, morons.
All right, Steve.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you've made me very angry now, Mr. Duncan. It's just reminded me of how stupid some dog owners can be.
Yes, but that's not. I think Steve is missing my point slightly. Very much. It's the fact that they're picking the poop up. That's no problem. You should, wherever you are. But don't leave it hanging from a tree
In a plastic bag.
in the plastic bag. That the plastic bag is going nowhere.
Stupid people.
Okay, Steve. This is my dislike, not yours.
That's one of mine. I wish I'd put that down now. It's made me all. I'm all uptight now.
But of course, in certain
It's
areas,
dark outside.
Steve, in certain areas, you can have small bins, places where you can put your dog poop. But don't hang it from the trees, because nothing will happen to it. It will just stay there forever, swinging in the breeze. And also, when you are walking on farmland, you must have your dog on a lead. Don't let it go. And don't say things like, "Oh, it's okay. He won't bite. Oh, it's all right. He's just being friendly." No. Your dog must stay on a lead.
Mr. Duncan, I'm going to go and put the kettle on.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a cup of tea. And I'm going to put some milk in it because that's what we do in the UK.
We have milk in our tea.
Goodbye, everybody.
Okay.
And Mr. Duncan's wound me up. Not wound me up, no, just made me realise. It's gone very dark outside. Is it about to rain, do you think?
No, it's not. Well, it's just because the days are getting shorter.
No, it's suddenly gone dark.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm not outside.
I've got some washing outside, Mr.
Okay,
Duncan.
Steve,
We
this
don't
is
want it to
great.
get rained on. Right, get ready to fade me away in a professional way, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
Lovely to be here. Lovely to see you all. Lovely to be with you, Mr. Duncan. Not that that's going to change after this lesson because we'll still be together. Nice to interact, to share our likes and dislikes,
Okay.
to learn a bit more about each other and this wonderful community that you have created, Mr. Duncan. Look forward to seeing you all again next Sunday.
Next Sunday, Steve will be back with us. See you, Steve.
Bye.
And there he was, Mr. Steve, taking an incredibly long amount of time to say goodbye. I get the feeling Steve wanted to go, you see. I think he's been here for too long. I think his legs were getting tired. It's his age, you see. I think that's what it is. Well, that is it. We've almost come towards the end. We are coming towards the end of today's live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to watch my new video that I posted last week. The link is underneath this live stream. So underneath there is a link to my lovely walk in 2021, and also you can watch the walk that I took last year as well, last year in 2020. So the links to those videos are underneath this video you are watching now. I am going. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a long one. 2 hours and 18 minutes. Wow. I can't believe it. I don't know how I do this every single week. I will be back with you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. So I hope to see you then. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a good week. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay just the way you are. And I will see you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. And of course, until the next time we meet here, whatever you like, whatever you dislike, whatever you enjoy, always do it with a smile on your face. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.